So last time we had finished up to text 18. Um, so the first seven verses. So connection from chapter 9 to 10 was that Lord said in the ninth chapter that you should, my devotee, remember me, always talk about me, and this is what you should do, right? Now, how to do that? How to always remember the Lord, right? And to remember anyone, right? If we know the characteristic of that personality, then it becomes very easy because then we can meditate on that personality, the characteristic of that personality. And the more those characteristic of the personality is becomes dear to me, it becomes much easier to remember, right? So with the same principle, Lord, out of his mercy, started talking about his opulences. Because one, if one doesn't understand this context, that where Lord is, if somebody comes to direct chapter 10 and say that, oh, Lord says that you have be humble, you should be humble. Now Lord here himself is talking about himself and telling that, hey, this is this, I am this. So what does it really mean? Is it Lord not humble? But you see the position of the Lord, right? Now he knows that the only way to go back to him, right? Where we are not talking about moksha. Here we are talking about going back to the Lord and serving him like a family, right? And the only way to do that is to remember him at the time of death. Yat yat achati shrestha, chapter 8. Okay, so now from that perspective, Lord is revealing, as Arjuna is asking, Lord is revealing, right? And then now Lord knows that, okay, I have given the key to that success, which is verse 34 in ninth chapter. Now, how to use that key? What is the right way to use that key? And that's where all these opulences are coming. Now, the first seven verse, Krishna is talking about what he has already spoken a bit in chapter 7, right? Krishna, that knowing that he's unknowable and the source of all. So now, can anybody tell me how you resolve this conflict that is unknowable? Krishna is telling, I am unknowable, and then he's also trying to go and explain that who he is. Does it make sense? Or how does it make sense?
Prabhuji, is it like since Krishna is the original source, so when he is explaining, he is able, I mean, others are able to understand from him how he is.
Okay, okay,
Also might be Prabhu, because if Krishna doesn't explain, I don't think we can ever get an answer for that.
okay, sure, sure. Okay, any other perspective? The one thing is, and as the chapter 10 concludes, you will see that it is Lord himself there. It's impossible to know about Lord. And the reason is, when we say that we are his fragment, we are just his fragment. Fragment means that, let's say, we have this is not a great example because I don't have a lot of hair, but let's say one of you, Prabhu, has a lot of hair, right? And of that hair, you pick one hair. It is like one ray and the ray of sun, all the rays of sun, and then one ray of sun. From that one ray of sun, you take one very small part. That's called fragment, right? We are one fragment of the Lord's part. It's so minuscule, so minuscule. Now that fragment, if tries to understand what the source is impossible, right? But to solve that, Lord is telling, okay, let me try to explain you. And what, see, just he talks in chapter 7 that let me explain what you can see and observe. And the second is, let me tell you what you don't see and observe. Numinous knowledge, right? The word he uses in chapter 7, in 7.3, if you remember. Now, okay, so those things Lord is explaining in principle. I am the source. I am the creator. I am the maintainer. Now we say go and look, okay, how this universe is created, right? And we'll be talking some of those things later in the chapter today. So he's talking in, he's explaining the principle, but how those things really is going to, what are the intricacies, right? Is Lord is not even attempting to explain that. Reason we know that it's very hard for us to understand, because when we those things, because when we try to understand, we use our own logic, because we try to compare that how the things work, what we know, and then we use that logic to understand the Lord's logic. It's not going to work, right? It's certain level actually it does work, right? It's like, oh, Lord also has a form, okay, but his form is spiritual, and spiritual means that it doesn't decay like our form. Our body decays, right? Then we go to the next bodies, right? So so yeah, certain level it does make sense to understand the Lord using the logic of what we know. But beyond that, that way of acquiring the knowledge breaks down, because then there is something more which we don't understand. Like we understand the three dimension X, Y, Z. There's a fourth dimension, we say the time dimension, right? What is the fifth dimension? Fifth dimension, we know there is a dimension of the consciousness, mind. But what's next? What is the sixth dimension? Now our mind will start going in circle. Oh, you're talking about sixth dimension, seventh dimension. There can be so many dimensions which we don't even can't even comprehend. Right? When Lord start talking about those, it will be very hard to understand. So net is Lord is giving us the principle, okay? But to understand everything in the detail, we cannot understand all the detail. But in principle, we can understand the Lord. So that's how we resolve it. He's unknowable in terms of the detail, but in terms of the principle that He's the source, right? Everything is sustained on Him. All those things we can understand. Okay, so that's how we understand this seemingly paradoxical thing. Okay. So does it make sense,
जी
Prabhu
प्रभु जी।
Mataji? Okay, okay, Prabhu. Okay. So that was seven, 1 to 7, right? That Krishna is the mysterious origin of everything, and one who knows Krishna is free from all sins. That is a very important principle, because when we try to start seeing Krishna that he is amongst ourselves, and then we start doing offense to the Lord, because then I'm comparing the Lord with my own thing, and that leads to sin. But when we understand that he is not amongst ourselves, right? Even though he may look like ourselves, but he's not amongst ourselves, because look at um, his divine qualities. The thing, even as a baby, he can kill so many. Like he doesn't need to even like. But we know that based on the pastime, right? How he kills Putna and all. But he doesn't need to do anything. If he just desire, the things will happen, right? But still, we know that based on the pastime, that as a baby he can do so many things which we can't even think of doing, right? Then the Krishna is the origin of all qualities and the personalities, right? So basically all the demigods, all the sages. So when the manifestation is getting created, Lord is explaining how the four primary sages, and then the second level of seven different sages, 25 pratechyas, right? Total, Lord is explaining all those stuff, right? All of them, they come from the Lord, right? And then he says that they are the very small part of what Lord Opulences is. And then 8 to 11 is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So you take the whole Bhagavad Gita and try to put in a summary form what that was going to look like. That's four of these verses, also called Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. And if anybody remember what the text 8 is all about, um, what was the summary of text 8? So we had talked about three principle of any to understand any scripture, right? So if you know what word I'm talking about, or anything you can tell me, that would be great. Do you remember the words sambandha? Anybody remember what is sambandha?
The connection.
Connection, yes. So to understand any scripture, the scripture can be, so they can be divided in multiple ways. One way to divide is in these three categories: sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana. Okay. Sambandha is to understand the first. to anyone, right? We have to understand the relationship. In what relationship we have to understand this? We have to establish that context first. So sambandha is that we are part and parcel of the Lord, and He is the supreme. So the verse 8 talks about that sambandha gyan. Okay, that was verse 8. Then verse 9 was, now you tell me. So now we understood, okay, what I mean. So verse 8 is sambandha again. What was verse 9 of the three? Okay. So verse 9 was abhideya. Okay, it's the process. How to remember the Lord. So that's Lord talks about that how his devotee always meditate upon him. They always talk about him. They relish his pastimes. So that's verse 9. So that's the abhideya. That's the process. To attempt to attain Lord, what we have to do? We have to do what the Lord is saying. Right? It doesn't talk about that, oh, you have to do Archana Vidhi, like you take the agarbatti and you start doing like that, right? We have to understand the principle. Principle is that we know that we have to glorify the Lord. We have to, for to glorify the Lord, we have to hear about the Lord, and to hear about the Lord, we have to understand the Lord. Then now we can go dig deeper, right? To understand, we need to understand from the parampara system. So all those things Lord doesn't say, right? Lord, Lord says that, and this is, let's read the meaning, right? 9. The thought of my pure devotee dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So this is what the devotee do, right? This is what the devotee do. Their lives are fully devoted to my service. So why if we are talking so much about the service? And by the way, thank you very much for all the 4 5 families who were able to come yesterday. That was wonderful. It's a good start. Hopefully all of the local devotees are able to come on the same day and we are able to serve, right? So the, let's work towards that goal. But it's a good start. At least we started. Okay, and the more service you do, the is directly proportional. If you really want to see, understand the scripture, just you have to follow the Lord. If you don't follow the Lord, just hear about the Lord and appreciate, that's it. It's not going to be that helpful. Okay, so we have to follow what doctor is saying, fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So these great pure devotees, they derive the most satisfaction not talking about and doing any prajalpa, oh, what is the stock and how you are doing, and how the work is, what your relationship and all those stuff. No, what we have to talk about is the Lord and Lord activities, and amongst ourselves we have to amongst ourselves, and then we have to see that how each devotee, that they are part and parcel, and then um, uh, and then see them as the part and parcel of the Lord, right? So when we think about the Lord, we see the devotee and the Lord's all paraphernalia as the part of the Lord, right? And conversing about me all the time, and we have to do it all the time. That is 934, right? If you remember last verse, 934, 22, 33, 34. Man mana bhav mad bhakto, right? Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Right? So this key has 4 parts. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So that's the key Lord has given. And now chapter 10, that's what is being expanded. Okay. So that was, so, so please remember, right? We have to meditate on this, then only you will be able to remember. If you just do the one class in the whole week and don't revisit the topic and don't think about it, it's very hard to remember, right? That can happen with anything. So, and when we don't have the taste for the scriptural knowledge, it becomes little more harder. So so try your best to do as much as to do some review of the work, what we are studying. Okay, so this is the, I am the source of all spiritual and material knowledge. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage my devotional service and worship me with all their heart. So that's the Sambandha Gyan. Okay, this is the ninth is Abhideya Gyan. My thoughts of my pure devotee dwell in me, their lives are fully devoted to my service, right? So serving the Lord. So that's the, uh, and then these two are prayojana. This is the goal. What is the goal? To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they come to me. So those who are constantly devoted. So we have to have determination. We may not be capable, and we are not capable because we are so minuscule. We think that we are great, but we are so minuscule and our effort is so minuscule, right? But the only way is to show full determination that I really have developed the greed that I really want to go back to the Lord, right? And then we develop that, right? And devoted to serving me with love. Then what the Lord does, He's telling, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So let's say we start wherever we lack, right? He gives us the understanding, the right intelligence, so that we start approaching in the right way. So devotee will come in our life. Either the Lord will give some ideas like some sudden realization, right? Our life is so busy, oh, I don't know how to make the time. Lord will arrange in such a way that you will start finding time. Suddenly the 24 hours which seems like impassable, now that 24 hours seems like 48 hours because you are able to make the time for everything. And you are feeling happy. And I can tell you from my own experience and the several devotee I know that how it was so impossible to think that in my busy life how I'm going to add devotion and not impact other thing, right? The devotion has been added and life is perfect, right? So the means at as perfect as at my level it can be, right? With all my impurities and my all limitations. And then 11 is similarly it is also a prayojana. So 10 and 11 is prayojana to show them a special mercy. So see, to show them a special mercy, I dwelling in their heart destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So the darkness what we have, and sometimes we understand seems that darkness to be truth, those things are removed by Lord as his mercy, right? Suddenly those realization starts coming. The things which were not working, suddenly there is a clarity. I can see it. There's a purity in consciousness, right? And all those things start guiding us towards the path. So these are the 4 verses. Then the this section. What is the importance of this section? Can anybody tell me? Section 3. What was the importance of this section? Come on, devotees. What is the importance of this section? Yeah, give it a shot. Give it a shot.
So this section, Arjuna accepts whatever Krishna is saying, and he started asking questions uh, from after that, like.
Very good, Nutan. Very good. So see, now when there's a conversation is happening between the teacher and the student. Now suddenly students realize it. They said, "Oh, I understand everything," right? And then then you start saying as a student what you understood. That's exactly. So he is just repeating what he understood, and this is and what it teaches us. It teaches us this is how we should understand because Arjuna is the best student, right? So we have to follow the best student. That how he understood. That's how we have to understand. So see what Arjuna understood. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest, all the great sages, Narada. He's telling that all those things which I am telling, this is not only I am telling, all the great sages, they also say the same thing, right? And now you are also saying, so 3 sources, you're saying that after you explain me, I understand, right? And I'm summarizing you, right? That has been, and then he's saying the great sages are also saying the same thing. You also you yourself also just said, so he's just trying to triangulate, right? And say that, oh, this is wow, like so like eureka moment is happening. He's trying to come up with everything, right? Then he continues, oh Krishna, I totally accept the truth as truth, all that you have told me. Neither the demigod nor the demons, oh Lord, can understand your personality. Nobody else can understand your personality because they can not understand the Lord. And why? Because Lord is the source and they come from the source. So how uh, somebody which is who's coming from the source can understand the source, right? Only the source can understand, can explain that who he or she is, right? In this case, the Lord has explained that who he is, and that's the reason. Doesn't matter how big a demigod is, doesn't matter how big a sage is, they can never understand the Lord fully, right? They can understand in principle. If they are devotee of the Lord, then they can understand the way we are understanding. And of course, because they are sages, they will understand a little bit more, lot more than us, right? Because they have more purity. They're they're pure souls, right? Then 15. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O supreme personal origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of universe, God of gods, right? So it goes. And then please tell me in detail your divine opulences by which you pervade all this. Now he's saying that, oh, I understood all these things. I want to little more. Right? When once you start loving somebody, then you become greedy. You will say, please tell me a little bit more. Please tell me a little bit more. Please tell me a little bit more. Right? This is how it is. And this is a personal joke, right? My personal thing. So when I got married, and then after getting married, we are coming in my flight. I was so tired, I wanted to sleep, and my wife used to wake me up. Like I was just like falling asleep, and she'll wake me up, and she'll make me talk. She'll make me talk, right? So that's like if you're getting in love with somebody, you just want to know more. You want to know more. You want. This is exactly the kind of greed we have to develop for the Lord, right? So see these. The amount of things we can learn through our life, right, in terms of how we in an intimate relationship, how we act, right, and some of those things can be directly used to understand in principle with our relationship with Lord also. Okay, but I said there is limitation to any analogy, right? But at certain level, its analogy will work. Okay, at least I have seen that while I am trying to grow in this path, it really works. Like the my Grahastha ashram really helps me understand the relationship with the Lord. Then, O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? So he asked, so now the three very important questions he asked, right? Now he's not talking about who you are. Initially, when we start, right, we ask the question, okay, tell me what this subject is all about, what it is. Like once we understand the subject, then we say that how to understand this subject, right? Now understand, okay, what the purpose of math, what the purpose of science, then how to understand that math, how to understand the science. Okay, what are the principles? Tell me how to explain, how to study it properly. Now, so it is not that I don't want to study. Now I know I have to study, but how to study? This is exactly what Arjuna is asking. Arjuna is a very sharp student, right? How to think, right? He's not talking about not like he's not talking about why, right? He's not talking about why I have to do. He understand he has to follow Lord. So how to think about you. And then the second question he asks, how should I learn about you? Right? So how should I learn about you? And third thing he asks, in what form should I remember you? Lord has innumerable form. In what form should I remember you? So very, very pointed question. Right? Good students ask the good questions, right? And then 18, O Janarda, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Okay, so a lover never gets satisfied with the beloved, right? They always want more. There's a greed, right? There's a greed. Okay, so we spent half an hour for a review. Let's move on to this final section. Final section is Lord Krishna will describe his vibhūtis, opulences. Okay, so in 1920, Krishna described only the most prominent of his opulences as they are unlimited. He is the all-pervading supersoul and the beginning, the middle, and end. That's all entities. And 21 to 39, then he speaks various opulences of Krishna, right? And then 40 to 42, there is no end to Krishna's divine opulences. All that is majestic, beautiful, and powerful is a spark of Krishna's splendor. He pervades and supports the entire universe with a single fragment of his power. So meditate as we go. Don't lose sight on the big picture. Okay, that's very important. And then as you're not losing sight on the big picture, try to see how that the goal of all these exercises to try to develop attraction for Krishna, right? And to do that, Krishna is sharing these vibhūtis. So let's try to understand from that perspective, right? Try to draw the rasa from it, how I can really remember the Lord through his beautiful characteristic, divine characteristic. Okay, that should be our goal. Okay. Okay, so 19th. Now Bhagavan start talking again after 656 verses Arjuna has spoken. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Hante te kathayashyami.
Hanta te kathayashyami
Divya he atma vibhutaya.
divya he atma
Vibhute.
vibhutaya
Pradhānyataḥ kuru shrestha.
pradhānyataḥ kuru shrestha
Nasti anto vishetrasya me.
nasti anto vistarasya me.
The Supreme Personality of God said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestation, but only of those which are prominent. O Arjuna, for my opulences is limitless. Okay, this we already talked, right? It's limitless. And we cannot understand, but he's going to talk about the prominent, which really matters to us. So it is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are limited and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or in any state of life. Rather, the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to the devotee as nectar. Thus, the devotee enjoys them. In discussing Krishna's opulences and his divine and his diverse energies, the pure devotees take transcendental pleasure. The, the word prādhānyataḥ in principle is very important because we can understand only a few of the principal details of the Supreme Lord, for his features are unlimited. It is not possible to understand them all, and vibhuti, as used in this verse, refers to the opulences by which he controls the whole manifestation. In the Amra Kosha dictionary, it is stated that vibhuti indicates an exceptional opulence. Okay, Amar Kosha dictionary is a Sanskrit dictionary, right? For that's what Prabhupada is referring. Vibhuti means an exceptional opulence. So moving to text 20. Aham Atma Gudakesha
Aham atma gudakesha
Sarvabhutesha Sthitah
सर्वभूतस्य स्थितः
sarvabhutasya stitah
Aham Adishya Madhyam Cha
अहम्
aham
आदित्य
adishya
मध्यस्य
madhyascha
Bhutanam Anta Eva Cha.
bhutanam
भूतानां त एव च.
I am the Supersoul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and end of all beings. So, so this is in principle we understand. I am the Supersoul. Okay. So he is the Paramatma Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. That we have known even from the chapter 2, right? Jnana section. I am the beginning. So I am the beginning, the middle, and end of all beings. What does it mean? The beginning, middle, and end of all beings, right? So first we can understand that everything and anything what we have, everything belongs to Krishna, right? Everything is coming from Krishna. So we know that the his whole personality. There's nothing is I can claim this is mine. Okay, so that we can understand. Now let's read the purport and read some explanation. Then we'll see a little bit more, right? So first of all, do, do you all recall how many incarnation, how many types of incarnation Lord has?
Three, Prabhuji.
Three. Okay. What are those, Mataji, you're talking about?
The Mahavishnu, Kshirodara, and
Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Okay. Okay.
Kshirodaksha Vishnu and
Uh,
Garbhodakshaya.
okay. 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 So, so that is actually only one type of Lord's incarnation. So let me ask you one basic question. How many incarnations are there of Lord?
Is it 23 or 24 something? 24? Probably.
Those are so okay. Those are the 24 kind of incarnation has been described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So you're right from that perspective. But Lord's incarnation, Lord there says that these are some of my only incarnations, right? So Lord's incarnation is innumerable, right? Um, Dasavatar is very well known because that is some one of the our acharyas has explained Dasavatar, right? So Dasavatar people know. Shrimad Bhagavatam, as they said, describe 24 of those. But Lord is innumerable, but there's a type, right? So because we cannot know all the incarnation of the Lord, but they are the types of incarnation,
There are
right?
six
So,
types.
There are 5 types, right?
okay, there's 5 types you said, and somebody said what? 6 said somebody
Type,
said?
Yeah, 6 types, Prabhu.
six
Oh,
types.
okay, okay. Now tell me what are those 6 types? Or at least what you know. So 6 is
Pu-
the right answer. Okay, 6 is the right
Purusha
answer.
avatar.
Sorry.
Purusha avatar
Very good. Very good.
and Leela avatar.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, you got it. You got it. So there are 6 types of avatars, right? So there are 6 types of avatar, not 6 incarnations, 6 types. So of those, Purusha avatar is the category which help create the whole manifestation. Okay, so when we say beginning, middle, and end, it is directly referring to the Purusha avatar category. Okay, so now we remember when we started in the introduction, we talked about how many Vishnu, and then some of you are confused. Then we said, oh, there are 3 Vishnus, and then we went into that. So now we understand there are not one Vishnu, there are 3 Vishnus, right? So they are expansion of the Lord. They all come in the category of the Purusha avatar. Okay, so they are ultimate Purusha. That's what we. So the first Purusha avatar is, and this is where I have taken the picture, and because the picture speaks the 1,000 words, right? So you will be able to remember this and probably meditate on this the next time you are thinking. So this, whenever you see this picture, if you are meditating on this Vishnu, he's called Mahavishnu. So in the Purusha avatar, the first expansion which happens from Narayana is like Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu is lying in the ocean, and from his pores small bubbles, small bubbles from the Lord's perspective. These bubbles which are emanating, these are universes. Innumerable universes are emitting from the Lord's body. Like, okay, and innumerable universes are going back to the Lord also. So there's a time factor, right? Where the universes we talked about, our universe, the age of our universe. Anybody can give an estimate? What is the age of our universe?
50th year of.
No, no. But the total age, I'm not asking about the Brahma age.
Oh,
Yeah,
4.
32 something, probably. 432, 100,000.
that is Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga time, right? When we say universe, our time of universe, this is the total age of Brahmaji. Is the time of the life of our universe, right?
100 years of Brahmaji.
100 year of Brahmaji equal to how many human years? So, okay, let me give you 300 something. Do you remember 311 trillion 40 billion years? 311 trillion 40 billion years is the age of our universe. Of these, half of that has gone 50 years, right? That's what. So now see that in the factor, and that is the life of our universe, right? Based on our Brahmaji. So different universes may have different lifespan depending on the Brahmajis, right? Some Brahmaji has 100 heads or 1,000 heads, and there's a description in some of the stories. When they go to meet our Brahmaji goes to meet Krishna, and then he thinks that, oh, I am come to meet Krishna. Then suddenly he sees this Brahmaji, oh, has 1,000 heads. This Brahma had 100 heads. And then his heads start going, right? So it's Brahma Vimohan Leela, part of that, one of the episodes that is being described. So that's how we know that. Okay, so see the time of like time lapse, right? So these are things in the moment, Lord's moment. So many universes are coming, and so many universes are going back. So this is the first incarnation, right? This is what we call Karuna Dakshaya Vishnu or Mahavishnu. Okay, that's the first picture. Then, as the universes are coming in within each universe, then another expansion of Karunaya Dakshaya Vishnu is there, and he is called Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu. Okay, so I think a full picture would be like this. Okay, so this is you see that this is a picture we see Lakshmi Devi, right? He's lying on Seshnag, right? Lakshmi Devi is massaging his feet. Okay, and we see the Brahmaji is coming from his navel. So this is within the single universe. This is what's happening within the single universe. Lord is lying, and then Brahmaji is born from his navel. That is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And from that, then the another expansion of the Lord happens, which is the life of the universe, like how the each atom of the universe permeates, right, with the Lord's energy. And we as a jiva, within each of the jiva, Lord comes as the super soul. That's called Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So if we become pure and then we are able to see the Lord face to face in our heart, this is how the Lord is going to look like. This is how it is described. That is the four-handed form, right? It is the size of the thumb. Lord will appear in our heart. Okay, that's Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So the Vishnu, which is typically talked in general in the words where all the katha, all these stories happen, it is mainly referred to the Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So the Vishnu people typically talk, they're talking about the Shirodakshaya Vishnu, right? In some cases, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. The Karunadakshaya Vishnu, lot of most of the people, they are not aware of that. Okay, so this is the three manifestation of Vishnu. I hope this picture you will be able to remember, and you will be able to remember the types of Vishnu. In this verse, Arjuna is addressed as Gudakesha, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. So why that is meaningful? Because Arjuna has conquered the darkness of sleep, then he can, so now he's in light, so he can understand the detail. That's the reason Lord is very specific, Lord, why Lord is taking this name. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjuna is significant because Arjuna is above such darkness. The personality of God has agreed to describe his various opulences. Because Lord knows that to the fool, if Lord speaks, they won't be able to understand. Because now Arjuna, due to the Lord's mercy, is in out of the darkness, he can understand what Lord is going to describe. Okay. The three Purusha avatars described in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are also described in Narad Pancharatra. So now the various citation Prabhupada has given, right? Which is that it's not that one Purana. There are various other Puranas. He's like at least three or four he gives name here, which all describe the same thing. This is how we understand that one Shastra is not that somebody, some human person has come and written this and it is just a manufactured thing. No, the Shastra you can comprehend as the Shastras appear at a different time, they're talking the same thing. Then you say, oh, this is true, right? This is how we understand. So they are also described in Narada Pancharatra, one of the Satvata Tantras, Vishnu's tu Trini Rupani, Purushaksha Shakhyani Atho Vidhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features: the Karuno Dakshai Vishnu, Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, and Shiro Dakshai Vishnu in this material manifestation. The Mahavishnu or Karno Dakshaya Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita. So again further. So but you got the idea. We have already discussed these three. So that's what it is. So now 1920 Lord says that okay, I'm going to describe the prominent ones, and he starts from okay about the Purusha avatar. Now you see that he's going to the opulences 21 to 39. So we'll quickly go over these. It will go a little fast, I hope. Adityanam aham Vishnur
Adityanam aham
Aham Vishnu.
Vishnu
Jyoti Samravir Amshuman
Jyotisam
Ravi
Pravir
Anshu
Amshumam
Marishir Marutam Ashmi
Marishir Marutam Ashmi
Ashmi
Nakshastram Aham Sashi.
Lakshar
Nakshastram
Shastram
Aham
Aham
Sashi.
Shashi.
Shashi.
So see now the next to understand this section, right, from 21 to 39, the way to understand the principle Lord is taking is if I want to describe who I am, it is very and I like so I think that example like I am that itself defeats it. Okay, let's say if I have to understand something which I cannot comprehend, right? If I have to explain, okay, like this, if I have to explain a ant what the size of my house is, how I'm going to explain it to the ant? Okay, so now to do that, I have to compare it with something which the ant understand. Okay, so I have to say that ant that okay, you have seen a drop of water. Okay, so then I have to say that it's innumerable number of or after it's innumerable. I have to say that okay, you have seen the bucket of water. Oh, in the bucket of water, this is the biggest bucket. What you see, that is who I am, right? That's the size of me. So we try to compare with something with the biggest, what we see that, oh, that's the best. Then you say that, okay, if all the things, if you see the best, then that is a little bit of my splendor. Now I'm trying to understand. That's exactly the similar, very similar method Lord is taking. He will be picking the best of the things what we know and say that that is me. That doesn't mean that that is just the Lord is, right? It's just saying that the best what we know, Lord is telling that's who I am. So that is, so that gives me the greatness of the Lord. So that's the exam. That's those things will go. Lord is going to describe all these many of these things in these verses. So here it says, of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of light, I am the radiant sun. Of the Marutas, I am Marishi. And among the stars, I am the moon. So see, so here I've written, pick a category and then I am the best amongst the category. And that is Krishna's representation. That's the method which is Krishna, Lord is using. So of the Aditya, so there are 12 Adityas, all right? Of 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 which Vishnu is the most, right? So 12 Adityas were, so they were Diti and Aditi. So they were two daughters of which Muni? Kashyap Muni. I may be wrong in terms of which Muni. So of a Muni, there were two daughters were progenited, Diti and Aditi, right? So Aditi were all the Devatas were born, and from Diti all the Ditya were born. Okay, so that's how you can understand. Of the 12 Adityas who were initially who appeared, Vishnu, right? Or I am the Vishnu, right? So of the Adityas, I am the Vishnu. So the topmost, so he's saying I am the Vishnu. So I am the principal one. And of lights, I am the radiant sun. So if you see that, of all the different light source, Lord is telling that which is the biggest light source we know? Oh, sun. Then I am. That's who I am. Of the Marutas, I am the Marishi. So this is the wind, right? The different kind of airs. There are 50 different kind of airs in the purport is written somewhere. There are 50 different kind of airs. Of that, I am the Marishi. So that is the most powerful air type, Marishi. So I'm saying, and among the stars, I am the moon. Of all the stars, I am the moon. So see, this is how Lord is describing. Okay, so now see, as what we said, the goal is to relish the Lord's characteristics so that we can meditate on it. Now, when you see the moon, now we should try to change our vision. We see the beautiful moon. We say, wow, this Lord's opulence, so beautiful sun, so beautiful moon. If you look at the sun, right? Like a lot of people, they offer the water to the sun. There's Chhat is one of the festival which happens a lot in the North India. Now we can appreciate that when we are focusing on the power of that Lord, that is only one spark. We can see how great the Lord is. So this is the way we can meditate, right? So we can look at the nature, different element of the nature, and we can try to see the Lord in that through the beauty, through the vigor of it, right? If you go to Yellowstone, you see how the land is just bubbling, right, as if like it's going to melt underneath us. See the Lord's the energies. These are just the external energy of the Lord, right? We can see the greatness of the Lord, right, through that. Go to if you have been to Jasper and Banff, you go and see all glacier, white, beautiful greenery, like it's like as if you're not in this world. You can appreciate, wow, so beautiful. This is just on the Earth planet, so beautiful. What the spiritual world could look like, right? Where is all eternal, all blissful, where there are trees which produces whatever you want, right? You just desire. So there was a desire tree. So we can see, and when we see the things, we can we can think about the Lord. That should be our mood. Okay. Next verse. Vedanam samavedasmi.
Vedanam samaveda asmi.
Devana Devanam ashmi vashavah vashvah.
Vedanam asmi vasava.
Vasvaha.
Indriyanam manashchashmi.
Indriyanam
Manash
manashashmi.
asmi.
Bhutanam ashmi chetana.
Bhutanam ashmi chetana.
Of the Vedas, I am the Samved. Of the demigods, I am the Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force. So again, of the Vedas, I am the Samved. Samveda is the Veda of all the poems. It's appreciation. It's a Rasha, right? Of all the things. So some of the Vedas goes into Tattva, but Samveda is like a rasa, right? So of that, it's considered to be of all the Veda is considered to be the biggest Veda if one understand, right? Then we will understand the Lord, uh, l- able to understand Lord. That's Rasha. So he's saying that I am that. Of the demigod, of course, Indra is considered to be the king, right? And Indra is a post, right? So he's Indra. And of the senses, I am the mind. Mind is the one which makes one it can be our enemy, it can be our friend, right? And mind is the one which really um, once the mind clears up, then we are able to see the Lord, right? It is the interface through which we connect with the Lord, right? So that it is from that all the senses is considered to be the greatest, right? So of the line of the mind, Lord is telling that you can see me, that I am that. And in the living being, I am the living force. So the consciousness that we know that it is coming from the Lord. So okay, so that is verse 22. 23. Rudranam sankaras chashmi
Rudranam Shankarashmi
vitasho yaksha rakshashamam
Vitasor Yaksharakshadam Rakshasam
Vashunam Pavakas Chashmi,
Vasuna Pavashasmi
Meru Shikhari Nam Aham.
Meru Sikharinam
Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yaksha and Rakshasa, I am the Lord of Wealth Kuvera. Of the Vashus, I am fire, and of the mountains, I am Meru. Again, so there are 11 Rudras, sorry. There are 11 Rudras that we know. And of all the 11 Rudras, Lord Shiva is considered to be the greatest. So he's telling that in that case, I am Lord Shiva, right? Of the Yaksha and Rakshasa. Yaksha and Rakshasa are the different type of jivas, right? So this not only Rakshasa. So of them, Kuvera. Kuvera is Yaksha, right? Is the strongest, and he's the lord of the wealth also, the demigod of the wealth. So he's telling I am that. Of the Vasus, fire is one of them. So in that case, fire. I am the fire. On the we don't know about this. We in the geography, Mount Meru is not talked about, but in scripture, Mount Meru is talked a lot. So it's in a dimension which we are not able to see. Otherwise, it says that how the Mount Meru is the highest mountain, and it is standing in the middle of the whole universe, right? It gives the description in Srimad Bhagavatam. So from that, I am the Meru mountain. Okay, so 24. Puroda Purodasham cha mukham mam
Purudhasham Cha Mukhyamam
vidhi partha brahaspatim
Vidhi Partha Brihadspatim
sanani nam aham skandha
Senani Skanda
sarashram ashmi shagarah.
Sarasam Sagara
Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya. Of the bodies of water, I am the ocean. Again, see, of the priest, who is Brihaspati? Brihaspati is the chief priest of Indra, right? So I am Brihaspati if of all the priests, if you would like to. Of the generals, we know Kartikeya is the general army general of the Devas. So I am Kartikeya. And of the bodies of the water, the biggest water source what we know is ocean. So he's saying I am the ocean. 25. Maharshinam Bhrigur Aham
Maharshinam Bhrigur Aham
Giram Ashmi Ekam Aksharam
Giram Asmi Ekam
Yagyanam Japo Yagno Yasmi
Yajnanam Japo Yajko Ashmi
Sthavaram Himalaya.
Stavaranam Himalaya
Of the great sages, I am Vrigu. Of vibration, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. So again, there are many sages. Of that, Bhrigu is considered to be the one of the greatest sage. So he's saying that I am Bhrigu. Of course, we know that Om, that okay, Om is it subsumes all the sound vibration of the universe, right? So Om. So I am Om. Okay, and of the sacrifice, I am the chanting. So the chanting of the holy name is the biggest sacrifice, right? That's the reason we chant. So in the Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy name becomes even much bigger because the other method is not useful in Kali Yuga based on our own propensity. And of the immovable things, I am the Himalayas, right? So Himalayas, so Meru mountain is the biggest mountain, even lot bigger than Himalaya. Himalaya is nothing in front of that. But sometimes Meru mountain moves also. Okay. And Himalaya doesn't move. That's the reason of the immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Text 26. Ashvatah sarva vrikshanam
अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां
devarishinam cha narada
देवर्षीणां च नारदा
gandharvanam chitraratha chitraratha
चित्ररथः
siddhanam kapilo muni.
सिद्धानां
See, again, of all the trees, I am the banyan tree. So Aswataha is word is used for banyan tree. The Bargad ka ped in Hindi we know Bargad, right? And the sages among the demigods. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. So sages of all the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. So the Gandharvas is the type of jiva who are very good in singing. They are the ones who are in the higher planets. They are the one who sings and do all the musical performance, right? So they are a very powerful being. At the same time, they are very musically inclined. So Gandharva. And among the perfected beings, I am the sage Kapil. Okay, so this is again four line of the banyan tree. Of all the trees, I am the like banyan tree. They consider to be the big one of the biggest tree and the most beautiful, with the roots goes everywhere, right? Very strong tree, last for many years, 1,000 years. The sages among the demigods, right? He's Narada, right? So Narad Muni. And of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha, right? He's the highest Gandharva. And among the perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Ucha Shravasham Ashwanam
उच्चैश्रवस्य अश्वानां
Vidhi Mam Amroto Dabhavam
धीमां अमृतो भवम् भवम्
Eravatam Gajendranam
ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां
Naranam Cha Naradhipam.
नराणां च नराधिपम्
Of the horses, know me to be Ucheshrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Eravat, and among men, I am the monarch. So see again, when the this episode of Samudra Manthan happened, the churning of the ocean happened, right? So the first thing which appeared was the horse, Uchchashiva, and that was taken by the Bali Maharaj. So it was considered to be the most powerful horse, right? Magical, most powerful horse. So he's comparing to him. Uh, and then again churning, the Aravat came. Uh, who uses the Aravat? You know this?
इन्द्र
Indra's prime, yeah, prime vehicle, you can say. Okay, so Eravat, and among the men, I am the monarch. So of all the men, like so king is considered to be the highest, and they are. So this is not the king of our Kali Yuga, right? Who are all corrupt. So the king used to be Raj Rishi, right? If you think of the king, think of Ram, think of Parikshit, think of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So the monarch who always thought their subject more than themselves or their family members. Okay, so that's the kind of monarch is being compared to. Okay, so the best of the men. Ayudhanam aham vajram
आयुधानाम् अहं वज्रं
dhenu nam ashmi kamadhuk
धेनूनाम् अस्मि मधुक्
prajanas chashmi kandarpa
प्रजनश्चस्मि कदर्पः
sarpanam ashmi vashuki.
सर्पणम् अस्मि Vasuki.
Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surbhi. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. Again, thunderbolt. Who is a thunderbolt? This is Vraj. This is called Vraja. Vajra.
Indra.
Vajra. Indra use Vajra. Okay, some considered to be most powerful weapon amongst the demigods. Okay. Among cows, I am the Surbi cows. Do you know what is the importance of Surbi cows?
Is it the same cow that father of uh, Parshuram had? No. But
Possibly. I don't recall.
uh,
Possibly. Yeah.
cow came up.
Kamdhenu Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yeah. So Surbi cows are like Kamadhenu cows, right? They can give milk anytime you want, and then the milk quality is supreme, right? It's very tasty. So in fact, in Krishna's pastime, like multiple cows, the best of the cows, right? They will be milked, and then their milk will be fed to the other cows. Then their milk will be taken out. Then their milk will be fed to other cows, and then like this. There are some number of types, and then that milk is being fed to Krishna. Right, the type of milk. So Surabhi cows exist in the spiritual world, and they are best of the cows. Okay, so even then the Samudra Manthan, all this, the churning of the ocean, all these things happen. Right, even the Surabhi cows came of the procreation. I am the Kandarpa, so he is the main progenitor of and that's the god of love. So again, highest, like if progeny, so progeny is not bad if the progeny is done for the welfare of the society. Like, so if with the right inclination, then the man and a woman come together to procreate with the right consciousness, so that the soul which comes in that body can be elevated and sent back to the godhead. That is the success of a marriage, successful marriage. Okay, so that's the reason why it is very important that we really try to bring our kids to the level they can understand what is the purpose of life. We should educate them in material education, that's fine, right? But the main thing is we should give them the education which will take them back to the godhead from this material world. Otherwise our being a parent won't be successful. So that we should try our best. Okay, and we can try our best, we don't worry about the result, but that's what we should try. Okay, and of the serpent I am Vasuki. So for the do you know what is the who is Vasuki, where that reference come from, the stories?
The same serpent Prabhuji that Prabhu Vishnu.
You're
No.
right, bro. You're right. So yeah, churning of the ocean, the the rope was used. When the rope was nutting, that was Vasuki the snake. So he's the longest and the most one of the most powerful snake, right? So that is Vasuki. That was it, Prabhu. You're right. Yes. So Vasuki. So of those the snake, I am Vasuki. And this pastime of churning of the ocean is amazing. We can learn so much from it. From Srimad Bhagavatam, amazing. So if there is some topic which is related to that, I'll talk in the future sometime. Okay. Anantaschasmi naganam varuno yadasham aham
Varuno yadasam aham
pitranam aryama chashmi
pitranam
Pitranam
aryamam chashmi
yam
Ashmi.
yamaha samyamatam aham.
yamah
यमः
aham.
संयन्त्रम् अहम्
Of the many hooded nagas, I am the Anant. Among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Armaya. And among the dispenser of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Again, see, of the many hooded Nagas, I am the Anant Shesh. Anant Shesh is the Nag on which Lord Vishnu, the Vishnu, which of the Vishnu, of the three Vishnu, which Vishnu is lying on the Anant Shesh? Good. You get full points. Yes. So Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So that's Anant, like he has Anant number of hooded, right? Of many hooded Nagas, I am the Anant. Among the aquatics, I am Varuna. Varuna, you know, is the demigod of water, right? Of the departed ancestors. So this is the Pitralok. So Pitralok, the supreme of the Pitralok is called Aramya. So I am Aramya. Like Yama is for the Mritu Lok, and then for the Pitralok is Aramya. And among the dispenser of law, like we know Yamraj, right? So among the dispenser of law, I am the Yama. Yeah, Yamraj, the Lord of Death. So now you can understand when Lord is say that I am the beginning and the middle and end. You can, if you try to understand this, it makes complete sense, right? What Lord means by it. 30. Prahladascha asmi daityanam
प्रह्लादलक्ष्मी दैत्यानां
kalah kalayatam aham
काला कलयता
mriganam cha mrigandro aham
मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रो अहम्
when venatasya cha pakshinam.
वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणां
Among the Daityas, demon, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am the Gadura. So again, among the Daityas, right? So you know, how many you know that Prahlad was actually came from the Daitya family? Do you know? Most of you, I assume, you know, right? So he was Daitya. He was Asura. So, but he was devoted. He was totally devoted to the Lord, right? He was even Hiranyakashipu's son, but he was totally devoted to the Lord because he was blessed by Narad Muni when he was in his mother Kayudi, in the womb of Kayudi, right? Then he was blessed by Narad Muni, and Narad Muni kept Kayudi in his hermitage because that time the all the asuras were defeated by by the devata that time. So that's how like he was born as a as a devotee, even though born into the Daitya family, he was devotee. And among the subduers, I am time. So there is no bigger subduer than the time. With time, everything destroys, right? So biggest subduer is time. And of the beast, I am the lion. And among birds, of Garuda, but we know that he's the biggest bird. Right? There's a story how on Garuda, when it's milk churning of the ocean, Lord Ajita is sitting, who's the incarnation of one of the incarnation which help with the churning of the ocean. Right? So on Garuda, Ajita is sitting, Lord Vishnu was sitting, and then all the demigod and the Daityas who were trying to lift and bring it, and they were tired, they were sitting. So Garuda is such a big bird, right? The whole thing like can fit on a Garuda, and a Garuda can still fly. Okay, 31. Pavanaha pavatam ashmi
पवनः पवताम् अस्मि
Ramaha shastrabhritam aham
रामशास्त्रावृतम्
रामस्तरवृतम्
अहम्
Jhashanam makaraschashmi
शासनं मकरश्चास्मि
शशाङ्कमकरश्चास्मि
Shrotasham ashmi Janavi.
स्रोतसम् आस्मि
श्रोतसामग्रस्मि
जानवी
जानवी
Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of the flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Right? Again, of all the purifiers, I am the wind. Wind is the biggest purifier. Like all the things they smell, then you open the window and all the smell goes away. Right? So I'm the biggest purifier. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. You know Rama, right? And then of fishes, I am the shark. Shark is considered to be the biggest fish, like most ferocious fish, not in the size, most ferocious, just like a lion, right? It's most ferocious. And flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Sarganam adir antascha
सर्गाणाम् अदिरन्तश्च
madhyam chaivaham arjuna
मध्यं
मद्यं
चैव
चैवहम् अर्जुन
adhyatma vidya vidyanam
अध्यात्म
अध्यात्मा
विद्या
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 विद्यानां
vadah pravadatam aham.
वदः
वादः
प्रवदतम् अहम्
Of all creation, I am the beginning and the end and also the middle. O Arjuna, of all science, I am the scriptural science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. So this is the different way of saying. So here purport is useful to read. Among the created manifestation, the first is the creation of the total material element. As explained before, the cosmic manifestation is created and conducted by Mahavishnu. Okay, so Mahavishnu that we already talked about today. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So conducted by Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And then again it is annihilated by Lord Shiva. Brahma is a secondary creator. All these agents of creation, maintenance and annihilation are incarnation of the material qualities of the Supreme Lord. So focus, material qualities of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is the beginning, the middle, and end of all creation. Right? So creator, sustenance, and destruction. Okay, that's what it means. For advanced education, there are various kinds of books of knowledge, such as the four Vedas. There are six supplements, the Vedanta Sutra, the books of logic, the book of religiosity, and the Puranas. So there are different types of, these are the types of like one, two, three, four, five, six kind of types of books which can be categorized. So altogether there are 14 division of books of education. Of these, the books which presents Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge in particular, the Vedanta Sutra represents Krishna. So Vedanta Sutra is the summary, right? If it take everything, right, and as sutra, so each of the principle is taken as a sutra, and that is all compiled in Vedanta Sutra, right? That is considered to be one of the hardest thing to understand, because to understand you need to, basically it's a summary form, but it is for remembrance, and it is expected that you have you have gone through all the text so that you can understand. When you say um, uh, Atho Brahma Jigyasa, that's one of the sutra. Now thus you have become born, you should inquire, right? That is telling, and this is the complete elaboration. It can be the subject of elaboration in one of the Puranas or one of the Upanishads, right? So each of those aphorism is that powerful, and that is the part of Vedanta Sutra. So that represents Krishna. Among logicians, there are different kinds of arguments. Supporting one's argument with evidence that also supports the opposite side is called jalpa. Merely trying to defeat one's opponent is called vitanda, but the actual conclusion is called vada. This conclusive truth is a representation of Krishna. Right? So this conclusion is vada. Right? So this is again, we think that we are great debaters, but if you just go and read the Sanskrit textbook, right, the our scripture, it goes into the depth of logics which we haven't really we have not known, right, how to approach it. Like, see, it's saying support the opposing side is called jalpa, right? So there are different words for it, and then how to approach it, and then ultimately the conclusion, right, what is that is called vada, and that is what Krishna is, right? So again, we can understand the Krishna through what how he's trying to explain himself. Aksharanam akaro ashmi.
अक्षराणां करो कारो अस्मि
द्वन्द्वा समीक्षा द्वन्द्वः समशिक्ष्य च
द्वन्द्वा
सामशिक्ष्यस.
द्वन्द्वा
समशिक्षा
समशिक्षया च
Yeah,
मानसिकस्य च
yeah, सामशिक्ष्य च. अहम
सामशिक्ष्य च
अहम अव अहम एवा कश्यः कालो.
अहम्
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 एव
एकया
एवाकर्षः
काल
यः
कालो
कालो
धाता अहम विश्वतो मुखा.
धाता
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 अहं
अहं
विश्वतो
विश्वशो
मुखः
मुखः
Of letters, I am the letter A. Among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time. Of creators, I am Brahma. So here, don't think letter A is, oh, it's a alphabet letter A. Is telling akaro, the first letter of the alphabet. That's what it means. Of all the aksharam, the first letter, I am that letter. Because without that letter, the other letter won't exist, right? So this is how to understand. And among the compound words, so here a few things we can read. Akara, this all already talked about. This is the first letter, right? Among all, okay, so and then the compound words, so they are dvandva, right? So like Rama, Krishna, dvandva. So these are used, so these compound words are used to describe lot of characteristics in our sastras. So a special type of words. So his Lord is telling, I am that. And then um, I'm inexhaustible time. So I just, among all the kinds of killer, time is the ultimate, because time kills everything. Time is the representation of Krishna, because in due course of time there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. Right? So time is the continuum which continues. It is the factor within the material world. It's not a factor in the spiritual world. Okay? And the Brahma, verse 34. Mrityuha sarva haraschaham.
मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम्
उद्भावश्च भविष्यतम्
उद्भावस्य
उद्भावस्य
च
च भविष्यतम्
भविष्यताम्
कीर्तिः श्रीर्वक् च नारीणाम्
कृतिः
कृतिः
स्त्रियः
च
च
नाम
नारीणाम्
स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतः क्षमा.
धृतिर्मेधाधितिर्क्षमा
I am all devouring death. I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. So this is so of all devouring death, of all the devouring things, I am the death, right? So why? Because as soon as we know that all the time our cells are dying, right? So once we are born, we are dying, right? So birth is what's happened is the pinnacle, and then from there is always downward, right? But we celebrate the birthday. We don't know why we celebrate the birthday that way, but yes, that's how the material world is, right? So that's what Lord is. This death is devouring every living entity at every moment, but the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo six basic change. This is something which we had talked in verse 2.13 or 2.14, chapter 2. They are born. So six transformation happens to the body. The first thing is we are born, then we grow, then we remain there for some time, then we reproduce, and then we dwindle, and then finally we die, we vanish. Of all these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. That is the highest, because I said after that is downhill. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities, right? So that's how to understand the first part of it. Okay. Text 35. Brihat sama tatha samnam samna
बृहत् तथा
बृहत्समानतथा
साम्नां
Gayatri chandasam aham
गायत्री
गायत्री
छान्दसम् अहम्
छान्दसम् अहम्
mashanam margo shri aham
माषाणां
मासानां मर्गस्युम् अहम्
ritunam kushuma akraha.
ऋतूनां
आकरः
Of
कुसुमाकरः
the hymns in the Samved, I am Brahat Sama, and of poetry I am the Gayatri. Of month I am a Margarishi month, which is November, this and that. And of the season I am the flower bearing spring. So again in this, so of the hymns, right, which is in the Samved, and the main hymn, which is one of the most beautiful hymn, is Brahat Sama, right? So that's I am. And of the poetry, I am the the Gayatri mantra, right? I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am the best month. So it is continued to be best month because that is the time all these crops they are fully done and they are being cut, right? Celebration. So we have Diwali and lot of business. That's the reason Diwali is considered even for many the business community as the beginning of the new year, right? So celebration time. And of season, we know the flower bearing is spring season, right? So those are all the things. 36. Dvityam Dvityam Chalayatam Ashmi
युद्धं
द्युतं
चालयतम्
चलयात्
अस्मि
Te-
अस्मि
Tejas Vinam Aham
तेजस्विनम्
तस्मिन्नम् अहं
Jayo Yashmi Vayavashyayo Ismi
जयो
जयो
अस्मि
अस्मि वयवस्वयो
यो अस्मि
Sat Satvam Sat Satvam Satvavatam Aham.
सत्त्वं
सत्त्वं सत्त्ववतम् अहम्
सत्त्ववतामहम्
I am also the gambling of cheats. Of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am the victory. I am adventure. I am the strength of the strong. So all the things you see that people appreciate. But this is the thing which may you see. I am also the gambling of the cheats. What do you mean, right? So why Lord is complaining that of the gambling of the cheats? Why Lord has to compare that also? Is it like if you look in a lot of movies, right? Villain, villains, people remember the villain, right? Villain is being the topmost villain is also think, oh, he's such a big cheater, right? So there are stories on the biggest cheater. Now Krishna is telling that if you think of the cheater like you are the bad person, think of the cheater, I am the biggest cheater, right? And then that is from material angle. But if you look from the spiritual angle, the Krishna like Chaurastakam, right? So uh, there's a poem called Chaurastakam where Krishna is glorified as the cheater, and the cheater who is cheating the gopis and the devotee's heart, he cheats them in the sense that he takes away their heart, he steals their heart. So he steals the heart of the Lord's devotee, right? So he's that kind of a cheater. He steals our heart, and then he goes away, and then we are looking for him. Where he's. So that is the way to understand the scriptural angle. But here, Lord is talking from the material angle that if we want to compare of the cheaters, right? We always see that some villain we have, some big. What you call mercenaries and all those people, they think, oh, big shot, like he was the biggest killer of all time, right? So of them, Lord is telling that if you want to compare, I am the biggest of that, right? I'm the splendid, I am the splendor, I am the victory. So people who doesn't want victory, I am the adventure. People love adventure, right? And people think, oh, the people who are doing adventure, they are so brave, right? So he's saying, I am the adventure. That is, if somebody has that adventure propensity, I am that adventure. If you think that you are the most adventurous person, yes, I am that thing which is driving you to be the most adventurous. I am the strength of the strong. 37. Vrishinam Vasudevoshmi
वृषि वृष्णीनां
Vasudevashmi.
वासुदेवोऽस्मि
Pandavanam Dhananjaya
Pandavanam
पाण्डवानां
Dhananjaya.
धनञ्जय
Muninam Api Aham Vyasya
Muninam
मुनीनाम्
api
अपि
aham
अहं
vyasaha.
Kavinam Ushana Kavi.
Kavinam
कवीनां
Ushana Kavi.
कवि
Of the descendant of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. And of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa. And among the great thinkers, I am Ushana. Okay, so again, comparing Vrishni, right? Of all the Vrishnis, the Yadu dynasty, right? I'm the Vasudeva, the first person who expanded, Ravasudeva. Of the Pandavas, Arjuna was considered to be the best, right? I am that. Of the sages, I am the Vyasa Muni. He compiled all our scriptures. And among the great thinkers, I am Usana. Okay. Dando Dando Damayatam Ashmi
Dando Damayatam
ताम्
Asmi.
अस्मि
Nitir Ashmi Jigissatam
Nitir Asmi
अस्मि
Chikitsatam.
ताम्
Maunam Chaivashmi Guhyanam
Maunam Chayavasmi Guhyanam.
यनां
Jnanam Jnanatvatam Aham.
Jnanam
ज्ञानं
Jnanam
ज्ञानवताम्
Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. And of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence. And of the wise, I am the wisdom. So all means of suppressing lawlessness, how we suppress the lawlessness? Through some strong punishment. So I am the punishment. Of those who seek victory, I am the morality. So of all these, so here this is among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, meditating. Okay, so this is for the silence. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality, right? So that's what it is. And among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important because by silence one can make progress very, very quickly. We hear the silence is golden, right? So, and then the sages, right? They are always very gambhir, right? They are not. They don't talk, right? They are because they are internal looking. Silence is inward looking. Not when we talk, blah blah blah. We just shows to the world how big a fool I am, right? When we talk without thinking, right? While while we also say you should be a good listener, right? So that is looking inward. So of the secret things, I am the silence. Of the wise, I am the wisdom. 39. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am sorry. Yachapi sarva bhutanam
Yachapi
यच्चापि
Sarvabhutanam.
सर्वभूतानां
bijam tad aham Arjuna.
Bijam
बीजं
Tad Aham
तदहमर्जुन
Arjuna.
न तद अस्ति वीणा यत्सयन्
न तद् अस्ति वीणा यस्य
तत्तयान्
माया भूतां चराचरम्.
मया
माया भूतां
भूतं
चराचरम्.
चराचरम्
Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existence. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. So now Krishna said, okay, all the things I'm saying. Now let me like it like like a kind of summary of all the generating seed you see anywhere, anything you're seeing. There is no being, moving, no that can exist without me. So there's nothing in this world or anywhere in the manifestation can exist without Krishna. See, so powerful. He's the original seed. Now 40. Nanto asti mama divyaya divyanam
नान्तो
नान्तो
अस्ति
अस्ति
मम
मम
दिव्यानां
दिव्यानां
vibhutinam parantapa
विभूतीनां
विभूतीनां
परन्तप
परन्तप
एषा तुद satah prokto
एषा तुद्ये
एषः प्रोक्तो
सत्प्रोक्तो
vibhutar vistaro maya.
विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया
विभूतिर्विस्तरमया
O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. This is what you're talking about. It's a mere fraction, so mere indication of my infinite. So first we cannot. There's no calculation how many, right? Infinite, right? So just that's the reason I was comparing with the number of hairs. Like even the hair can be counted, but in the big scheme of thing, right? Like so it's so many hairs, right? I cannot even count. If you take one hair and break it, that's the it's mere indication. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. So that is what Prabhupada writes. Yad yad vibhutimat sattvam
यत् यत् विभूतिमत्
यत् विभूतिं तत्त्वं
srimad urijitam eva va
श्रीमत्पुरुषिताम् एव वा
मच्चित्तमेव च वा
te tad eva vagchatvam
तत्तत् एव
तत्तदेवा
वक्षामि
वक्षत्वं
mama tejo masha sambhavam.
मम
मम तेजो
तेजो
मम
सम्भवाम्
Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creation is spring from but a spark of my splendor. Right, again, know that all opulent, beautiful, glorious creation, so any beautiful things we see, right? If we want, like, oh, beauty is the best thing which has ever, of all the from, but they are just a spark of my splendor. In other words, again, like in what Krishna has spoken 14, putting it a different way in the 41, right? So any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulences, whether it be in a spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. Anything extraordinary opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. Right? So anybody we sing, they have a beautiful divine voice. Wow, what a beautiful voice Krishna has given. So Krishna has been so kind to him or her, right? So that's the vision of the person. And see, this is very practical also, right? So uh, when we see Charlie Chaplin, right? What comes in your mind when you see Charlie Chaplin?
comedy, fun.
Comedy, fun, yes, exactly the same thing, right? When we see an image which is the one of the topmost, then we remember the category, right? This is exactly what Krishna is trying to describe in this. Okay, and this is exactly how it has to be understood. Okay, and the final words. Okay, I think you all can stay for maybe 3-4 minutes. We'll finish it. Athava bahun etena
अथवा
अथवा
बहुनेत्रेण
बहुनेत्रेण
kim नातेन त्वा अर्जुना
किं
किं न
नातेन
तेन त्वा अर्जुन
विष्ठाभयम् इदं कृत्स्नम्
विस्थाभयम्
विष्टभ्याम्
अहम् इदं
इदं
Krishnam
Ekam Shena Istito Jagat.
ekam
Tena Stita
to
Jagat.
tat
But what need is there, Arjuna, of all this detailed knowledge? With the single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Now Krishna is telling, okay, I said all these things, but what is the need, Arjuna, to understand all this detail? What I'm saying, with a single fragment, I pervade and support this entire universe. If I can just, if you remember this much, all these things, what I have told you, is just becomes meaningless. Try to understand who I am. I say, wow, my father is that person, that is strong, that which is manifesting everything. I am his son, right? So if we can think through that, then we have really understood chapter 10 properly. So we'll read the purport, right? The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universe by his entering into all things as the Supersoul. Okay, we understood that. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. So without Supersoul, nothing would exist. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. So even why we said, okay, we are all jiva, that's great. But why do we relish enjoying with the non-living things? Like with the, okay, I'm sitting on the table and a chair. It is it is a material thing. Why I'm enjoying sitting on it? Compared to why when I would be sitting on, let's say, on a dirt or a puddle of water, and why I'm enjoying sitting on, where that enjoyment is coming from. What is the cause of that enjoyment even in this material thing? What do you think about it?
That is
So
also coming from Krishna, Prabhu.
that is also coming from Krishna, Priti Mataji. Yes, even these material things, the table and the chair, because the Lord's energy permeates things. That's the reason even we draw that semblance of enjoyment through these material things. If Krishna is not there, we couldn't even enjoy or have any kind of relish through these material things. That who Lord is. Now think that how compassionate Lord is. We wanted to enjoy, then Lord created all those things. He wants us back, right? But he know that, okay, we wanted to enjoy, okay, I am creating all those stuff. So you will enjoy something, but at the same time, you are going to learn lesson through it also, and then you would like to come back to me. So he's given the things like as a teenage son, right? Okay, I want to do this. He has made all the arrangement. Oh, you go and enjoy, but you are trying to enjoy without me. The ultimate enjoyment you are going to get by when you come back to me. So he's letting us go and experience it, because many times we have to fail to really learn that, oh, this is what the success is going to look like, right? What did I learn from my failure? So this is Lord, how Lord is helping from both the side, right? So it is amazing, like if we can see the Lord through that Sastra Chakshu, through the eyes of the Sastra, then we can really appreciate Lord and his glory and his compassion. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to the supreme personality of Godhead or the supreme goal. But worship of demigod is thoroughly discouraged herein, because even the greatest demigod like Brahma and Shiva represent only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is Ashma Ashma Rudha, Ashma Uradhava, which means that no one is superior to him and that no one is equal to him. In the Padma Purana, it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with demigod, be they even Brahma or Shiva, become at once an atheist, right? So comparing that, oh, they all the gods and demigod, they are all the same, it is the offense. Okay, it is an offense. You are comparing the king and one of his associate like a mantri, or a small soldier like a king. Oh, you are like a king. We respect them, right? But they are not king. Okay, so that's otherwise then we don't understand, right? It's like being atheist, that we don't understand the supreme. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different description of the opulences and expansion of Krishna energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Shri Krishna and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. So this is the purpose, right? That we will because we have that in our like the propensity to equate Lord with anything or everything, the way we have been told, like half knowledge. But once we are systematically studying, understand Lord Krishna, then we won't do that. We know that, oh, Lord Krishna is beyond that. Okay, then we love with that intensity. The Lord is all pervading by the expansion of his partial representation. So all pervading nature is coming just from the Lord's partial representation, the super soul who enters into everything that is. Pure devotees therefore concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. So what is transcendental position? In this world, if we just take over all our consciousness and make it the part of Krishna consciousness, the Krishna becomes the center of our life. So even though I am living in Redmond in the house in Woodbridge, right, taking care of a family, if Krishna is the part of my life, he's the center, not a part, he's center of my life. Everything revolves around that, which means me and my wife getting up early in the morning, serving the Lord. We serve Lord all the time. Then we take his remnant when we are thinking of anything. We are trying to think of Krishna, right? So trying to do all those things. We won't be perfect. We will be failing in many things, but we start doing that. That is the beginning. Okay. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verse 8 through 11. This is we already did the review today. That is the way of pure devotional service. How one can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. So, how we can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality. So, we want to establish the sambandha, association with the Lord. How we can that how we can do that? That is the subject of this chapter. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, he's one of the acharya, is in our parampara. A great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna concludes in his commentary on this chapter by saying, from Lord Krishna potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Shri Krishna is worshipable. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the opulence of the absolute. So, opulence of the absolute. What a opulence of the absolute can look like. That is the little fragment of that has been described in chapter 10 with the goal that will create an attraction to our beloved Supreme Lord Krishna. So that is the summary of chapter 10.
Prabhuji,
So
I have
in
a question.
yes, Mataji.
So you said there are like 6 types of avatar for Shri Krishna, but then when we discussed about Purusha, all the Vishnus are under him, right? Or do we even consider them as the 6 types? And when you say six, I mean who else? And
So Purusha avatar is one type, and of those
yeah,
Purusha avatars, there are 3 types. Like example, Leela avatar. There are several Leela avatars, right? Krishna himself is one of the when Krishna is considered to be Leela avatar, right? There are other Leela avatars also, right? So then Shakti Avesha avatar. So there are like 6 different types of avatars. So that's what this was talking about. So if we take all the avatars and we can try to understand that the Shastra categorize them in 6 big categories, right? Yuga avatar, Shakti Avesha avatar, Purusha avatar, Leela avatar. There are 2 more. Um,
Guna avatar.
Guna avatar. Thank you. One more.
Manvantara
Man
avatar.
mantra avatar. Yeah? Nutan wins it. Good job, Nutan. Very good.
Actually, Google wins it.
But smartness wins. Okay, good. So that intelligence, Nutan's intelligence, also comes from Krishna. That's the way to think. Okay, yeah, good. So Preeti Mataji, does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, I was kind of confused because I didn't know under Purusha the three Vishnus exist. So I was
Yeah,
like, how come they can be the types? So just
yeah,
wanted to
yeah. Sure,
understand.
sure, Mataji, sure. Thank you. Any other question, my dear friends? Right. So if no question, my only request, please do meditate on this. Right. We are reading the Bhagavad Gita to develop our love for Krishna. That is the goal. Right, and we are trying to do some practical aspect, which is trying to do some service. Some of you have started doing a lot of service, so you are on a path. For the others who are still able to not manage due to all the different circumstances, we are, let's try to encourage each other, right, help each other. That is the way, that's how we support each other, that's the true friendship. Right, so let's try to support each other in any way. Okay, I know some of you in very confidential confidence you reach out also, and sometimes we talk. So if you have any way we can help you each other, please try to get the help. Right, our goal is, let's try to go back to Godhead and be in the Krishna lok, play with him all together. That is our success. Okay, so let's try to do that. We have planned, and to just to to be to be on that path, we have planned to go for Sankirtan next week on 14th. Uh, I'll encourage all of you to plan it such a way that we are able to make it happen for all the local devotees. Right? For the devotees who are remote, try to go in the mental in your mind to the Sankirtan. Okay, and Nutan, I know there's a very good Sankirtan they do like once a month in Bay Area. You just remind me, I'll connect you. I always think of it, then I forget. So I think you will have a lot of opportunities. Similarly, I think other devotee, if you are in a different Sujit Prabhu, I think just refresh my, just send me personal message where you are, and then I think we can find that there will be some Sankirtan group most probably. But all the local devotees, I will kindly request, please try to attend Sankirtan. Right? Try to do this seva, any seva you can find. There are a lot of opportunities. If you are having difficulty, let's say some other days or time work for you, you have some other inclination, reach out to me. Probably will try to make it work for something. Right? If you like baking, cooking, right? There's so many different kind of services. Right? Pot washing. There's no dearth of services. And by the way, the temple is starting the all the events. So our first event, June 4th, will be Holi. It will be celebrated in the Redmond City Center. So you will be hearing more about it, but I'm just giving you the preview. So that's the first one, June 4th, and then I think June 18th, June 4th, June 18th, yeah, 1 week after the June 14th, means the 2 week after that will be the Veg Fest, and that will be in the Redmond City Park. It is in the middle of the Redmond's beautiful park. That's where it will be. So that's, so you can block your calendar. It will be on Saturday. So there will be a lot of seva opportunity, and you can come visit with your family, friends, right, your parents, anybody. They are all going to have fun. So let's come together, celebrate it, be the part of this movement. All right. Nutan, you have question? You have have your hand raised.
Yes, Bhaiya, but it is getting late. My question was, maybe you can answer next time. Is mostly that, like it is said that all the vibhutis, all the qualities, even the cheating quality, you can take that as that is part of Krishna. I'm just wondering, people who have, you can't say that it is a good quality, people who deceive you or messes things with you. So those qualities or is also should be considered as Krishna, I mean, as per what we read here. So I'm just wondering,
Mhm.
so you should just accept it, you should not try
Okay.
to
Okay.
fix
Let
it.
me. No, no. Good question. So let me try to see. This example would help. I think I had heard sometime, and it was helpful to me. So when you see the sun, right? We know the sun, the power of sun is coming from Krishna. But then when you see the shadow, right? So let's say if I'm standing in front of the sun, right? Then there is my shadow. I don't see the sun completely, or I don't see at all with the way I am standing. So does it mean that the darkness is coming from Krishna? No, the darkness is not coming from Krishna. The light is coming from Krishna, but because I am seeing the light without in relation, so I am coming in between, right? I'm removing the relationship from the source, and when I remove that relationship from the source, then that becomes darkness. So the way to understand it, any, yes, so any quality, all good qualities, any opulences, right? All those are coming from Krishna. But when we don't see that in a relationship with Krishna, then those same qualities become the perverted reflection. And that is not coming from Krishna. Because we have eliminated the connection of that thing from Krishna, so it seems, oh, that's a bad quality. There's nothing bad in this world. When we don't see anything in with, if we don't see the things without relationship of Krishna, then that becomes bad. Okay, so that is now coming to this specific question of this cheating, why Krishna made. Cheating can be used in a very good way, and that's the reason why I said that when a Lord coming as a cheater and is stealing our heart, that's a good thing. We want Lord to come as a cheater, the biggest cheater, and steal our heart the way he was stealing all the hearts of the gopis, right? So that is a great thing. But now same cheating mentality is used to disturb somebody, right? Then that's a bad thing, right? So why Krishna brought that it up? Because we understand this world in that perverted way. So he's showing that even if you look from that perverted, oh, the all the Daitya, of all the Daityas, I am this, right? If Krishna says that, oh, the Daityas are not good, but if you think that, oh, the Daitya category or the villain category means that's what I really, my one of my friend, we're asking in the class, the teacher asks what you want to become once you grow up. He said that I want to become mercenary, right? There was a word he used. Basically, he wanted to become the biggest killer, right? So that time that what he used to exemplify, because maybe there was a movie or something, and he was thinking that I'll become that, right? So that's the reason why Krishna mentioned that. So I don't know if Nutan, if that helped you or not.
It certainly helped, but exactly, maybe we can talk later. This is really getting late. I was talking from a everyday perspective, right? You meet different kinds of people, and you know that there is people are trying to deceive you, right? And how should you react to it? That was my question.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
I'm not expressing it properly.
No, that's a separate question. Okay. So see, what Prabhupada said, that nobody can deceive you. Unless we have a self-interest, unless we want to be deceived, nobody can deceive us. So typically people get fooled when we have the self-interest. Let's say somebody is saying that, oh, this this is the cheapest gold you have seen ever. This is the, if you, let's say you go to Hyderabad and they're trying to sell you the not the gold, they try to sell you the pearl. Hyderabad is famous for pearl, and there are a lot of cheaters who will sell you the pearl, the best pearl at the cheapest price. And not because I thought, oh, it's a deal, man, it's a deal, right? And I'm trying to, then of course I'm going to get fooled, right? So unless, so if we don't have the self-interest, it's rarely that we'll get cheated, right? Of course, still it's not that impossible that people won't cheat, but mainly we get cheated because we have some self-interest. So that's what Prabhupada mentioned, right? So typically you'll see that once you come to a devotional life, this I haven't seen myself getting cheated a lot. Can it happen? Yeah, of course, it can happen, right? Because I'm not in a situation where I have to deal with that, right? But when we are dealing with the material elements, material things, and we are in the self-interest mode, then of course there's a higher probability of I'm getting that experience. Utan?
Yeah, that
No?
have. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, my dear friends. So we'll end the class. Thank you very much. So see you next time.